For our viewers in Seoul Espanol News, it's a great pleasure for me to sit here at the Barcelona Hotel with one of the biggest fighters that we have in America. This is Representative Nayib Gaetz. Sir, good morning.
Buenos dias.
Buenos dias.
And here we are in Salvador, about to witness history with a country that is on the rise. I mean, you could feel it in every cafecito, in every bodega. You could see in the neighborhoods, the barbed wire is coming down, investment is coming in. And that is because they put security first, and they brought the country around this common vision, and they weren't deterred by some of the corrupt institutional forces that have kept the people down here for too long. And what's so strange is, as you and I are having this discussion in San Salvador, we look back to our country, the United States, where the very corrupt institutions are stopping with every effort they can muster.
Yes.
The positive force of President Trump as he works to secure our borders, to get our economy going, and to not have us in a world where war is erupting everywhere.
Yeah.
So it's really a historic conversation we're having, because we're at the juxtaposition of two countries that are heading in opposite directions.
Yes. I admire you because you always speak the truth and you are very bold and you say that. I remember during the previous convention in March when President Bukele went to the United States, and I says on his speech, the people talk to him about this dictator, but the real dictator that we have is in America, because he is persecuting his political record. It's just like a witch hunt.
Oh, and there was a recent exchange between a U.S. Congressman, President Bukele, on Twitter that I think really draws a fine point on what you're making. When some of these leftist American politicians are so eager to call Bukele a dictator that any tiny small thing they clutch their pearls over. And there was a matter of painting being moved a few meters in the airport, in San Salvador, and a U.S. Congressman criticized President Bukele for this, and he said, "We are a sovereign country. We will put our art in any display we so use, and you should go worry about your own country."
Yes, that's true.
And and I think that what a lot of these leftists voices want is surrender. I think of strong nation states. I mean, it's in their power. They want to debt you to the IMF, to the World Bank. They want to tie you up in a bunch of wars all over the globe that don't serve the interests of your people. And then they want a monetary system where you don't have agency over your own spending. And they want that to be subject to powerful elites far away. And what we believe, President Trump, President Bukele, myself, is the world is best, it's safest when we have strong nation states, strong borders, strong culture, some language. These are the things that enrich our lives. These are the things that create that layer of security, and it creates a springboard to the hope and opportunity that we see starting to flourish. We see it really starting to flourish at new levels.
Quick question. How do you see the Supreme Court ruling in favor of Texas for the SB4? I'm asking the question because as immigrant myself, when I came to America, I did the right process to become a citizen. What do you think about the legal immigration?
I sit here in the state of Texas because they have been abandoned by the federal government. The federal government has a constitutional obligation to stop an invasion, and we have neglected that duty. So whenever there's a neglect of a duty, something fills that void. And we've allowed cartels and thugs and criminals to fill that void, when the state of Texas is willing to stand up, erect the barbed wire, and enforce the law. That should be something that we honor as all Americans.
Agree. A lot of people are talking about the 2030 agenda, but now the politics and this part of the hemisphere, the west part of the world, is changing. We have Javier Milei in Argentina. We have President Noboa in Ecuador. We have the re-election of President Bukele here in Salvador. And now we have another elections coming in June in Mexico. We don't know which lady is going to win. In fact, the key part of this is if we can get elected Donald Trump. What do you think that connection between all those countries with Donald Trump, how that thing also work?
I am so excited by this question because freedom is contagious. When you create freedom, when you liberate yourselves from some of the corrupt institutions that have kept people down, then other people see that and want that, and they wonder why that can't be their own flourishing life. And so I think, honestly, a lot of this started with Brexit over in Europe. And when you saw a country say, we want to define our own future and not have it defined in another capital in another place, then that unlocked a lot of the potential of Donald Trump. And then indeed his presidency, I think, unlocked what we see now in Latin America. There was a theory of the case among the Americans back in the 80s that the way to see freedom cascade throughout Latin America was at the end of a rifle, right? Was at the end of a bombing army, or at the end of a CIA-driven coup. And now what we see is actually, if you get the globalist entities out of the way, people want a leader like President Bukele. Then get it out of that picture is far. And you mentioned Mexico. I believe Mexico is, in many ways, a captive narco state. Right. I mean, they're totally captive to the thugs and criminals. Yeah. And you know what? That used to be the story of El Salvador. Yes. But with the election of President Bukele, with a unified vision, with a willingness to go through the blockades and barriers that the bad people and the evil was trying to obstruct it have, now hope here is as I've seen it in this country, certainly at any point in my life.
One of the questions that we were talking before the interview was about the documentary in HBO, Drain the Swan.
Yes.
And when I saw the documentary the first time, I start following. I think that the message is really strong, not only for, like I said, for white people, but for Latinos. We came from our countries with a lot of problems, a lot of issues, and if we got the opportunity to come to America, is for freedom, better education, and to establish our own companies and to be successful. I believe in the American dream. What is your message for people they can see you in Texas? Because you represent Florida, of course, but how is the message for people in Latinos that live in Texas? You are here supporting the investiture of President Bukele is sending a strong message, not only for Americans, but for the world community. What is the message for Latinos or Representative Gaetz?
I think the message globally is that freedom is on the march. Yeah, we see freedom on the march in Argentina. We see it on the march here in El Salvador. And we see President Trump leading to restore America to that great beacon of hope. Not an invading force, not a colonial force, but as a shining example. And we see more and more examples. And the more we get examples like we have here in El Salvador, I think the more we'll be able to use a toolkit everywhere in the global South to be able to improve quality of life. And that starts with security and honesty and going after a lot of the corruption. And so that's a key message. Now, specifically, I know you got a lot of viewers and followers in the state of Texas. And if I could make a plug, we have to have Seppala Cruz reelected in the state of Texas. He is the lion of the Senate. He is someone who we work with frequently, and he will do good things for the people of Texas. He will continue that great work. And the hope for Latinos is with the Republican Party. We're your natural partner because we want to build things. We want to build strong country, strong family, strong businesses. I see those features often in the Latinos in my districts throughout Florida. It's really one of the great assets you have in Florida, that we have this wonderful population of people who come to our state to succeed and thrive and to build something better, building something that we can all be proud of and that you can durable through multiple years.
Yes. My last question is, I saw you yesterday at the local interview that you had.
Yes.
And you spoke about this phrase, famous phrase from President Bukele. El dinero alcanza cuando nadie se lo roba. Tell me more about it.
I'm a politician. Bukele is a politician. Anybody who runs for office is a politician. And when you see a slogan like that, that cuts you with the normal and BS and nonsense, it shows that you're dealing with someone with vision. And you can't get to where we are today in El Salvador just with the right white papers or the right introductions of ideas. There has to be a vision that draws people in. And when I saw that slogan, I became an immediate fan of President Bukele, and my admiration is only for him. That's great.
When we have President Trump, we have peace around the world.
Yes.
Now it's like a turmoil. What do you think about the issues between Palestinians and Israel? Because President Trump, they established our embassy in Jerusalem. That was a huge step. And now we have this fight in our backyard.
Yeah, that would probably be, we could do a whole 20-minute interview on that subject. I can tell you as a Christian, it hurts my heart to see a place with a 4,000-year connection to my faith, enduring so much violence and death and pain, terrorism, and we didn't have this under President Trump. If President Trump even kept the bad guys on their best behavior, because he knew if they crossed the line with Trump, there would be this swift consequences, and that he would not, mediate or diminish retaliation when it was justified. But that's something very different than trying to be the Port Authority in Gaza, which is what the Biden Lloyd Austin decision calculus has brought us in. So I do pray. I know God looks over the holy light, and I pray as they are blazed. These so much peace and life. And actually, I mean that for everyone. I mean that for everyone who's there. I both like a kill. It breaks my heart. And I know to press the church's strong policies, it didn't have to be this way.
I agree. Thanks for having me. Thank you so much. All right. And thank you, people, to listen to us and watching us in Seattle Spanish News. We have Representative Gaetz here in El Salvador making history.